Hi everyone, I'm Ryan. Welcome back to my garage. Got several things to try and get done this week. So, firstly, I need to say a massive thank you to everyone who pointed out that when I assembled my carbs on the mixture screw, I'd put the O-ring and the washer in the wrong sequence. So the first thing I'm going to do is correct that. Then I'm going to move on to my indicators. I'm not going to do anything today, but I will explain and say thank you to everybody who pointed out where I was going wrong. And now it's been pointed out, it seems very obvious. So we'll recap on that in a moment. But actually, what I'm going to really constructively do this week is try and make some progress with this tank. Get some prep on it, get it cleaned up. So begin the painting process again. This time, hopefully, with more success. And then finally, there's been progress on a new project. So I made reference to this before. There's been some movement on that. So let me introduce you to a new stablemate. So the first thing I'm going to do is to reverse the sequence of the O-ring and the washer. And luckily, because these just unscrew from underneath, I think I should just be able to take them out without removing the carb. Hopefully, yeah, we'll see together. Let's see what comes out. Right, there we go. So there's the spring and the needle itself. Just put that somewhere very safe. Yeah. But actually, as suspected, the O-ring and the washer has not come out yet. So let me try and find something that I can just tease that out with. Let's go and have a look. Let me try this. Just a little piece of wire, one hook on one end if necessary. If necessary. Now let's see if I can put that in there. Just encourage them to come out on the hook. Right. No, let's try the little tiny hook. No. Okay. Oh, 1 second. Yes. Yes. Okay. So we have the O-ring. And that still looks to be in good condition. I'll just give it a little, not broken, not snapped, good. Okay. So keep that safe. And now we need to get the little tiny washer out. Come on, baby. Try and encourage that. Oh, there we are. Got it. And there's the little, there's the little metal washer. Good. So, reverse the sequence. So, it is now the spring, washer, O-ring, spring, washer, O-ring, and carefully reinstate. Okay. Well, luckily that was one of the easiest corrections I could ever have made. So I'll run it all the way in and then I'll check the book, but I think it was 1.5 turns out, but I'll check the book on that and then I'll do the same and I'll do it on both sides. Cool. Yeah, I was actually slightly wrong. So according to the book, on the 250 it is 2 turns out. It was 1.5 on the 400. So actually maybe I didn't have that correct the first time. So 2 turns out. Let's see what happens. Okay, 5 minutes later, carbs are changed round and it started and ran exactly as before. So no obvious difference in performance, but I now know it's correct. Now quickly on these indicators. I put out a call for help saying, why can't I fit these indicators? Several things were pointed out to me. Firstly, I'm missing a rubber cover which goes over here and takes out the slack and the vibration from the rear indicators. But probably more importantly and quite crucially is these indicators I was trying to fit on here and couldn't work out how and why. As I pointed out, the profile's wrong. So I want to say a massive thank you to everyone who reached out. You know, Pete of Rusty Rex and K.I. Heston, Theron and others. I mean, in fact, many of you reached out and went, that's not a rear indicator, that's a front. And when you look at that profile and you bring it round to the front, and suddenly that profile makes a lot more sense and it actually fits on there properly. So whilst I still can't fit them yet because I haven't got the correct fitting to go in the centre, that's where that should go. So I need to get myself, I've not got it on there properly this time, there we go. So I need to get myself the bracket that goes in here, connect these up on the front, and these were the ones given to me by Theron, so thank you very, very much for that. But then I need to source myself a set of rear indicators with the appropriate fixings and rubbers. Then that will solve my problem here. So thank you very, very much, people who took their time to communicate and clarify what I was doing wrong. I feel a little silly now, but there we go. Hey, that's learning, you know. That's what it's all about. So thanks very much. And now, this tank, let's get it off, let's get it cleaned up, get it smooth, and get the first layer of prep on it. So first things I've done is removed all the rubbers, all the grommets, all the fuel mechanism, and then we put her up. So I've got full access all the way around underneath, and we'll start clearing it up. This has got like a dusty residue on it at the moment, so finish the clean up around here, and I've got myself some paint prep, some tack pads I think they're called. So we'll make sure it's all nice and clean, and then we'll go for a first primer coat. Yeah, so whilst I'm cleaning up the tank, before I apply any paint, even a primer, I'm going to make sure I use this tack cloth to just ensure that there's no residual grease or oils or dust on the surface, because I'm going to start with an etch primer just to try and make sure it keys to the metal okay. One thing I'm going to do this time is I'm going to take my time on this job. I'm not finishing it on this session. I'm hopefully just going to get it primed up today, and then I'm going to let it harden before I move on to the first layers of top coat. So that's all I'm aiming for right now. Now I've just spent just another 20 minutes or so just making sure this is all cleaned up and rubbed down. Make sure there's no residual surface rust, none of the old paint still feeling. It's looking, it's cleaning up. Still got a bit more to do in here, but once I've done this, then I'll give it a damn good clean, get any remaining grease or dust off of it, and then get it ready for the first coat of primer. Okay, I'm going to put down some etch primer. But what am I doing differently from last time? Well, to begin with, I'm taking my time. I'm going to put this on, and then I'm going to give it plenty of time to dry and harden before I proceed any further. Also, I've moved inside after I've done all the dusty work outside, so the environment should be less dusty, and importantly it's also a lot warmer, so it's about 20 degrees this time, whereas last time I think I did it in about 3 or 4. So let's get this on, see how it goes. Okay, so there's just the first coat of etch primer. I wanted to put that onto the bare metal just to give it all something to key to. I'm happy with the coverage. However, what I can do, I think it still picks up, yeah, you can clearly see here where there was an earlier repair. So that needs more attention. I'll probably mix up some very fine filler and give that a really skim over and a light sanding back. So that I'm not yet satisfied with. Other than that though, I think it's pretty much covered well, and the rest of it looks pretty damn good and smooth. So I'm just going to leave that now. I'm going to touch nothing for a while. Give that a good 24 hours to harden off, and then attach this afterwards to make sure that that disappears before I move on to probably another primer coat and then a top coat. Okay, so now for the exciting bit. In previous video I made reference to the fact of an intention to build a scrambler, and I had a frame, I had some engine components but not a complete engine, couple of wheels, tank, centre stand, which actually I don't want nor need. So in fact, if someone is looking for a centre stand which is pretty damn clean, and they want to contact me, let me know, because any contributions for this will go into the bike fund. So let me know if you need one of them. But there was clearly a few crucial bits missing, like, well, to be honest, an engine, any way of attaching the wheels to the frame, and yeah, some obvious bits. Therefore, in the background, with the help of Pete of Rusty Rex, I managed to also locate another engine which is complete, well, relatively speaking, slightly disassembled. Don't really know the condition of it other than the fact it's been sold to me for parts. It says doesn't run, it says turns over, doesn't run. Now, to be honest, I've tried turning it over and it doesn't feel like it wants to, but I think it's been stood around for a long time. So we're going to strip that down, find out what condition that's actually in, whether that can be savable as an engine, but also, of course, other vital components. So I've picked myself up a rear swinging arm, rear axle bolts, front fork set, the actual wheel bolts themselves, so I can actually attach the wheels to the forks, to the swinging arm, to the frame. So I think I have now got enough components to begin to start putting some things together loosely. Now, as I've said, I intend to build something like a scrambler. So I'm not going to go original. I'm going to use the skeleton of the CB250, but then try and change it and modify it as I see fit. So that's my next project. So stand by for updates. We'll see how it goes together. We'll see what condition the engine's in. We'll try and get that running. I need some more bits because I don't have a CDI. I don't have coils. Obviously the clutch has been taken off. I need to check the condition of that. But we'll see. I'm hopeful that is achievable. Please wish me luck, give me support. Anything you can offer in way of recommendations, parts, suggestions, please feel free. And with that said, I'm going to get back to actually doing something constructive on the project. Okay, so the tank's been drying off all afternoon, and I've just put a little bit of filler on that corner, just so hopefully I can rub that back and get an invisible repair. Okay, let's leave that to harden and rub it back later. There you go, all rubbed back nice and smooth, ready for another coat of primer. So I think I'm going to knock back all that primer and then give it one more coat. Okay, so that's all I've got time for tonight. That's a high build primer. I'm going to leave that overnight to harden off before I knock that back. So I'll continue in the morning. Hi, so it's the next morning and this has hardened off. I used a different type of primer, which I think is called a high build, and I'm regretting it because look, it leaves the actual surface extremely rough. So I'm going to just flatten that back now, and hopefully that'll give me a good surface for the top coat. But let's see how we get on. This was the corner I did a repair on. I'm pretty happy with that. I think that is going to look alright. Not sure about the rest of it. So still continuing just to flat it back, getting it a lot smoother. Still feels a bit rough, so there's a bit more to go. And then we'll be ready for a top coat. Not sure about today. Might just give it plenty of time to fully dry. Maybe tomorrow. Well, that's me very much out of time for this weekend. So I'd want to say, please do like and subscribe to this channel if you possibly can. It really does help me and it helps me build the channel. This is how the tank's left. It's relatively smooth for now. I need to get myself, I think, some grey primer because the paint says I should paint over grey and this isn't. So I need to pop out and get that. And then we'll move forward and try and get a top coat on it as soon as possible. So for now, thank you very much. See you all again soon.